it's Casey with Russo Resells. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Casey. I am a full-time online reseller, and I sell on platforms such as eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and Curtsy. Today is Wednesday, June 24th, and we left off on Monday, June 22nd, and after we left there, I actually had 3 more sales that day. And then yesterday, Tuesday, June 23rd, I also had 3 sales. And it's about, I want to say noon, 12:15 around that time right now. And I've only had 1 sale. Hopefully that's not to set the trend for the day. Hopefully I have more sales, but I do only have 1 to show you for today. So let's go ahead and hop into the items. Before we jump into the items, I do want to mention, if you haven't seen the elephant in the room, I do have a light box right behind me. This is actually the same light box that I had given to my dad. For those of you new here, he was taking photos of items for me, and it was making my listing process much easier. However, we have decided to part ways. Not bad vibes, any which way. I just thought that was kind of a funny way to put it. He is enjoying his retirement, and I am very happy that he is doing that, and I am taking over with the light box. Usually I just have a standing light, and I do all my photographs on the closet door, and that has been working great, but I do want to test this light box out and see if it'll help my photographs in any way. I'm always looking at new ways and better ways to take photographs of my items. So now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the items that sold. So the first item to sell is by a Goldie. These are a consignment item from my tennis teammate. These are called the 90s Pinch, and they are just a great pair of straight leg jeans. And she just has great items. They're always in great condition, and I love receiving her hauls. She actually just told me today she has more items for me to pick up. So very happy with these. I did price them on Mercari for $89.99 plus free ship. For those of you new here, I do offer free shipping on Mercari, and I just inflate the price a little bit to compensate for the shipping. And I do have the auto price drop on there. So the price was dropped to about $80. Then I received an offer of $72, and I went ahead and accepted that because that's actually a pretty good offer for these. So I did go on pirate ship, and I paid for the label. I paid $11.84 to ship this. Our fees to Mercari were $7.20, and I do want to mention that Mercari and Depop probably have the lowest fees, so that's another reason why I felt comfortable accepting this offer. She left with a total profit of $31.78, and I made a profit of $21.18, and these were only listed for about a couple weeks. The next item to sell, I do have to admit that I shipped out yesterday. The buyer actually sent me a message just asking if I could ship out yesterday because she did want it for next week. She's going on vacation. So I just went in my inventory. I pulled it out, packed it up, shipped it. No big deal, but I do want to show you guys what's sold. So I am going to insert a photo of it right here. It is this Gap stretch denim jean jacket, and I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, before I started this channel, I did order a 200-pound ThredUp rescue box, and this was in one of those boxes, and I was happy to receive it because jean jackets are always in, and I think Gap is always in too. I did price it pretty reasonably. I only have about $1 or $2 into this because that was my cost of goods for each item in that box. That is the beauty of those boxes, really. And I priced this on Poshmark for $20. My Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of 16, and one of those likers did counter at 14. I wasn't going to haggle for an extra $2, so I did go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $2.80, and I turned $2 into $11.20. Very happy with that sale. Now, the next item to sell is a consignment item also, and it is by Saks Fifth Avenue. These are a leather slingback kitten heel sandal with the patent leather toe. Absolutely gorgeous. These are coming from my aunt. They did have some markings, however, on the exterior, so I did price them pretty lower than comps because I did want to move them and move them along quickly. I priced them at $50 on Poshmark, and my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of 40. One of those likers did counter at 30, and I went ahead and accepted that. And because I accepted a lower offer, I did give my aunt a bigger portion of the profit. So she left with $15 and I made a profit of $9. I think that's extremely fair, and we are both happy that these are going to a new home to be reused again. The first sale to go through yesterday is a lot of 2 girls' dresses. They are by Hannah Anderson, which is a great brand to be on the lookout for. And I keep saying this, but for those of you new here, I do mark all of my children's items in my inventory at a cost of goods of $1. So I have $1 each into both of these. It is this really cute purple baby doll dress. And then I did also find a pink one in the same style. So $2 total, and I priced them on eBay for $39.99 plus $7 ship. I have had these listed in my stores for, I want to say, almost 2 years now. So when I received an offer of $20 plus $7 ship, I gladly accepted that, and quickly to that point. It cost me $6.95 to ship. I did have them promoted, so those fees were 81 cents. My fees to eBay were $3.83, and I turned $2 into $15.41. Very happy because I think that those are just so precious and adorable, and they're going to be great for the summer. Now, the next item to sell is by Offline by Aerie, and it is new with tags. This is a 2X, and it is a beautiful, like, sparkle pleated athletic skirt. I absolutely love this, and I would have kept it, but now I am an extra large, and I will not complain about that. So I did go ahead and price that at $35, and on Depop I received an offer of $25. I have been receiving quite low offers on other platforms, and because Depop doesn't really take a big cut, I did decide to go ahead and accept that $25 offer. My fees to Depop were $1.35. I did get that at a Salvation Army for only $4.99. So I turned $5 into $23.65, and I am very happy with that. Now, to stay on the skirt athletic trend or topic, I do have this one by Sophie Bella that sold next. And it is the cutest little navy and white stripe pleated hem skirt. And this is coming from my tennis teammate, the same one that gave me those Goldie jeans. I did price that skirt at $40, and on Poshmark, my Nifty sent out a 20% off offer to likers of 32. One of those likers did counter at 27, and because I wasn't really going to haggle for an extra $5, I did decide to go ahead and accept that. Our fees to Poshmark were $5.40. I did go ahead and give my tennis teammate a bigger portion than I originally would have because I did accept a lower offer. So I am giving her $15, and I am going to go ahead and make a profit of $6.60. And I do really believe that is the beauty of running your own business, is that you can make those types of decisions whenever you want to. And I am more than happy to do so. So the first, but hopefully not the last item to sell today is by Free People Movement. As we can see, there is a trend of athletic pieces still being sold during the summer, so definitely get them up and listed. This is the cutest little sheer tangerine colored, like really lightweight athletic tank. Absolutely love this. It is just so feminine and dainty. And I did, because it is such a kind of basic piece, I did price it very reasonably on Poshmark for $20, and my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of 16, and one of those likers did go ahead and purchase it at that price, which we absolutely love. My fees to Poshmark were $3.20. I did get that at a $2.99 Salvation Army sale, so I turned $3 into $12.80. Very happy with that. I know it's not the biggest profit, but I am happy to get it out of my store so I can recycle that money and hopefully buy better inventory. I really appreciate you guys being here. As always, those are all of the items that I have to show you, and I hope to hop back on within the next couple days to show you more sales. Hey y'all, it is now Friday, June 26th, and we left off on Wednesday, June 24th. After we left off that day, I had one more sale, and then yesterday, Thursday, June 25th, I had 8 sales, which is simply fantastic. So happy with that. And it's about 11:30 right now, and I've already had 2 sales. So let's go ahead and hop into them. The last item to sell on Wednesday is by Theory. Had to check my notes there for a minute. And I usually don't pick up this brand, but this was at a half off Salvation Army sale, so I got it for about $4, and it is 100% silk on the exterior. It's this beautiful printed lightweight bomber jacket. I absolutely love this, and it is in fantastic condition. It is a very small size, but that didn't deter me because I knew by paying $4 there was still some meat left on the bone. So I decided to price it on eBay for $39.99 plus $10 ship. To my surprise, a buyer came in and used my 19% off coupon I have running in my eBay store for the month of June. They paid $32.39 plus $10 ship. It cost me $6.95 to ship. My fees to eBay were $6.13, and I turned $4 into $29.31. Very happy with that. Now moving into yesterday's sales. So the first item to sell is by Beach Riot. This is from my tennis teammate. This is the cutest white and yellow stripe pleated athletic skirt. Absolutely love this, and there is a long story with this actually. There was a tank top that went with it, or there still is, but it did have a lot of marks on it. So I decided just to list the skirt by itself, but I am sending the buyer the tank top with it to see if they want to kind of repurpose it or even use it, and if they don't, they can just donate it. So I did price this at $49.99 plus $7 ship. Another buyer came in and used my 19% off coupon on eBay. They paid $40.49 plus $7 ship. It cost us $8.13 to ship. Our fees to eBay were $6.79, and my teammate gets a profit of $19.54, and I made a profit of $13.03. I am very happy that it sold for that price because I was anticipating getting a much lower offer. And it was also only listed for about a week or two, so very fast turnaround time. The next item to sell I actually sold for my sister. They are a pair of Lulu's heels. She actually bought these to wear at her wedding. I think she bought 2 or 3, and she decided not to wear these ones. As you can tell, they are new, and I do have the other one. It's just inside the box, and I figure showing you one will be good enough. So I'm not going to take both of them out of the box. I did price them very reasonably on Curtsy for $24.99 plus shipping on there. And I received an offer of $29 plus free shipping, which I went ahead and accepted. I have had these listed for a little over a year now. So it cost us $10.95 to ship. Our fees to Curtsy were $2.45. They do have a processing fee, which I'm not sure exactly what that is, but that was 84 cents. And I am giving my sister a larger portion of the profit because I did accept a lower offer. I'm giving her $10 and I am just taking $4.76. I think that is pretty awesome. So the next item to sell I did get at a Salvation Army for full price at $8.99. It is Tahari and by Arthur S. Levine. And it is new with tags. It did retail for $148. It is this beautiful ruffle sleeve deep V floral like tiered dress. Absolutely gorgeous. I did list this very reasonably because I just think that this brand in particular doesn't really do that well, and I really only picked up that piece because it did have a low cost of goods and it was new with tags. So I priced that on Poshmark for $54, and my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of $43, and one of those likers did accept. My fees to Poshmark were $8.60, and I turned $9 into $34.40. Very happy to see that out of my inventory to be used and loved. Now, the next two items to sell sold in a bundle. For those of you new here, I am a couponer and I get all of my toothpaste and toothbrushes for free. I did sell a lot of Tom's Maine toothpaste or Tom's of Maine toothpaste. And like I said, zero cost of goods into these couponing. I did price them on eBay for $11.99 plus free ship, and a buyer came in and offered me $10 plus free ship, which I thought was extremely reasonable, and I did accept. It cost me $6.72 to ship. I did not have it promoted. Yay, we love that. But my fees to eBay were $1.78, and I made a profit of $1.50. That'll go right back into my couponing fund. This next item to sell I got at my favorite Salvation Army at their half off Salvation Army Day sale. And this is by Room Service. I did get it a while ago. I want to say I've had this listed for almost 2 years. It is new with tags. But for $4, I really couldn't go wrong. It is just the comfiest, coziest red cheetah print, like ruffle trim robe. It is absolutely darling. I think it is so nice, soft, and cozy, and it does have pockets. It's just a good little piece to have. I did price it very reasonably on Poshmark for $40, and my Nifty sent out 20% off offers to likers of $32. One of those likers did counter at half off, so for $20. And because I have had this for almost 2 years, I did decide to go ahead and accept that. My fees to Poshmark were $4, and I turned $4 into $16. Very happy that is finally leaving my inventory and going to a new home. Now, this next item I actually got, I want to say last month maybe, or closer to the beginning of this month. It is newer tag Banana Republic, and I got it for that reason, and also because this was the half off color at the Goodwill near my dad's house where I sourced this, and it was only $4.50. I really couldn't pass it up for this price. It is this beautiful high collar sleeveless knit maxi dress. It is absolutely stunning. I mean, just showing you right here or attempting to show you really doesn't do it justice. It is such a beautiful piece. It is 100% viscose, and I did think that it was merino wool when I first hauled it for you guys, but it is viscose. So for that reason, I did price it a little lower than I had anticipated pricing it. So I put it up on eBay for $49.99 plus $10 ship, and my Nifty sent out an 18% off offer to watchers of $40.99 plus $10 ship, and one of those watchers did accept. It cost me $10.80 to ship. I did have this item promoted, so those fees were $1.53. My fees to eBay were $6.88, and I turned $4.50 into $31.78. I think that is a fantastic profit within, I want to say, 2 weeks of being listed. Now, this next item was only listed for a week, and I am so happy that I was able to source this at my local Savers for only $10. It is by Peruvian Connection, and it is the most beautiful blue printed long sleeve maxi dress. Absolutely stunning. I just fell in love with this, and I actually wanted to try it on for myself, but I do think that I need an extra large, so I did decide to go ahead and list it, and I listed it a little lower than comp suggested just so it would sell, and it would sell fast, and that it did. I priced it at $74.99 plus $10 ship on eBay, and a buyer came in and used my 19% off coupon. They paid $60.74 plus $10 ship. It cost me $8.13 to ship. I did have it promoted, so those fees were $2.25. My fees to eBay were $9.92, and I turned $10 into $50.44, and I will happily do that any day. The last item to sell yesterday, I actually got from Miss Kathy over on Ginger Marvin in one of her Whatnot shows. It is by, Angels Forever, and it is new with tags. It's this beautiful floral printed maxi dress. Just absolutely love the print. I love the slit at the bottom, the little sweetheart neckline, just absolutely gorgeous and perfect for the summer. So all of my cost of goods for Whatnot purchases are about $10 per piece. So I do want to say that I have $10 into that. I did price this on Poshmark for $40, and I received an offer of $30, which I gladly accepted. My fees to Poshmark were $6, and I turned $10 into $24. Not the biggest profit, but I didn't have to go anywhere to source that piece. I just sat in the comfort of my own home, which I absolutely love, and it was delivered straight to my doorstep. Now, the first items to sell today were a mistake. And this is something that unfortunately we have to learn as resellers, but I just accepted the offer way too quickly without even thinking twice about it. And I'll kind of tell you the story right now. So I had this piece, so I'll show you. This is one of the first pieces to sell in the bundle. It is by Ted Baker. It is this beautiful floral vest top. And I just sourced this at my favorite Salvation Army. They had it priced at $4.99, so I thought that was very reasonable. So my Nifty had sent out a 20% off offer to the liker of $22. However, what I didn't see is that the buyer declined it. Then they went in, they bundled this with the next two items and sent me an offer for $22, and I just accepted. I thought they had bundled this with this next item I'm about to show you. This is a Dunkin' Donuts Massachusetts mug. And I have $1 into this. So I had $6 into both of these items, and I thought she bundled that with this for $22, and that's why I was trigger happy and I went ahead and accepted, and I shouldn't have. But I didn't realize that she had another item in the bundle, which is this third item. It is new with tags Hollister. And these are a pair of high-rise, wide-leg linen blend striped pants, which are absolutely so cute. They are a junior size, so I do have only $1 into these because for those of you new here, I mark all of my children's clothes and accessories in my inventory at a cost of goods of $1. But she had sent me an offer for $22 on all three of these. I could have probably gotten much more out of just the Ted Baker blouse alone, but I'm going to learn from this lesson, and I'm just happy to get 3 items out of my inventory because those Hollister pants have been with me for probably 2 years. So I'm happy to get them all out. I have a cost of goods of $5, $8, $9 into all three items. And because I accepted the $22 offer, my fees to Poshmark were $4.40, and I turned that $9 into $17.60. So not the best sale on my part, and I will definitely be more mindful to take a little bit more time and review my offers more thoroughly. So with all that to say, I am actually happy that I accepted that because I do think it triggered this next item to sell, and I am very happy with this next sale. You all are going to know why I am so happy that this next item sold. So it is a pair of Johnny Was new in box, amazing little clogs. I absolutely love these, and I will take both of them out for full effect. They are fully embroidered leather clogs, brand new, 7.5 size, and that was the biggest deterrent for me on these, but I did get these at a charity shop down by the beach in Southern California, so where I live, and they were having a half off day sale. So I actually got these for only $40, and I did go ahead and drop the price a couple times because they have been listed for almost a year now. So the price was dropped down to $100, and my Nifty sent out on Poshmark a 20% off offer to likers of $80, and one of those likers did accept. So my fees to Poshmark were $16, and I pretty much doubled my money, or not even doubled actually. I made a little profit of $24. So I made an overall profit of $64. And I am very happy with that. I knew that this item would sell, probably not quickly, and obviously it didn't, but I still received a little profit, and I'm very happy to get these off to a new home. So those are all of the sales that I have to show you. I do have to get these packaged up and shipped out. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you're having fantastic thrifting, fantastic sales, and until next time, my friends, bye.